Okay, I just had this dream last night, and I'm titling it Nadir. Um, we were living in an old apartment on Flora Street in Stockton, and I was walking to a neighborhood store owned by people from the Middle East, and Nadir worked there. He was a man in his 30s that I considered a friend. He was always like really kind, and he would talk about the different types of flowers he grew, and give me little tips on the ways he did things. My youngest daughter was a child again. We walked to the store together and were inside chatting with Nadir when the environment began shifting, and that is, the air turned into like these translucent geometric square shapes that were attempting to reassemble themselves. And then Nadir's face started changing, and part of it was melting, and I was holding a pot when he stepped near me and he spit these seeds into it, and then he ran. And during this, I had lost sight of my daughter and was yelling for her when this large Caucasian man began telling everybody to calm down. I found my daughter and we left. And then we were back at our apartment again and needed to walk to the store again. Now, Nadir had been missing for days, and no one had seen him since that first shifting. And we walked to the store, and that same Caucasian man was there again. And I glanced up at the plant bowl Nadir had spit into and saw some of these strange things growing out of it. And they were so big, they were huge, just piling out of it. And I had taken the bowl down and was trying to tell people about it, but for some reason my words were really weird and mixed up. And I just started shouting, "Nadir, Nadir," and trying to show them with the bowl, hoping that they would understand. And the environment started shifting again, and my voice kept rising. I couldn't understand why people weren't seeing what I was seeing. And I knew that they thought I was crazy, but I kept trying anyway. Then the shifting stopped, and I put the plant back up on the shelf, and my daughter and I began walking home again. While we're walking home, these wolves began howling nearby, and I told her that we had to be really careful because they were going to kill us. And the Caucasian man who was in the store, his face had been eaten off, but I don't know how I knew that. Then I was in a little boat, stranded in mud. And I was supposed to ring a bell if we needed help, but I couldn't find the bell, so I started shouting, "Ding dong, ding dong." And I was so angry about everything that I started screaming, "Ding dong, MFers." I didn't say MFers, but, and then I screamed, "There is no bell." And just to be clear, I said MFers, but the full words.